Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Weekend is upon us. Wow. Well, I have some good news for you guys. You have a lot of your hard work in this class behind you. You guys have done a great job on the write-ups. 98% of you have dug in and did a really good job. Saturn was phenomenal. You guys have really improved a lot of your writing, and I appreciate that. Quick note on that. Listen, if you guys don't have a satisfactory grade on some of that writing, let's get it in. This last half of the class now, you'll have a chance to make up some points on that writing. And I'm all about rechecking stuff. I mean, I know that is absolutely the opposite of most instructors, but man, this is how we learn. All right, by trying, falling, swinging, missing, okay? So I'm good with it. I want you guys to get great grades. If anybody's unhappy with how this is going, send me a note, man. Let me know, because you know, this is the second year I've ran the class like this. I've gotten amazing responses from it. You know, people have said that they love the Blackboard shell, how it's laid out, how I teach it, and let you guys come back and redo stuff so you learn how to do it right, etc. So I want to make sure that you guys feel the same way. Okay, we've had just a miserable semester when it comes to Blackboard and McGraw-Hill, and I am so deeply sorry for that, okay? I can't help that. I've been working hard on it. I promise you, you will not be hurt by any grades that are Blackboard or McGraw-Hill sourced, okay? So the corrective action here, I think, is going to be next semester. I'm just going to do my own thing with my quizzes and things like that, because I just can't rely on this coordination between Blackboard and McGraw-Hill. It's driving me insane. All right, so what's coming up? Well, first, let's talk about Saturn. What a phenomenal company. When I went to Ferris, Saturn was just firing up, and they were recruiting out of here, and I had an opportunity to go down there, but I didn't want to leave home. I was more interested in another career path, but Saturn did some really cool things. The biggest thing that they did was got really close with their suppliers, okay? And the Harvard case write-up got into that to some degree, but there's some things behind the scenes that you guys could pull off the net that were a little bit deeper, and that was they went as far as to do exactly what they do in Japan. They got into their suppliers' books. They figured out what the supplier's making. They agreed on a profit margin for certain products. They agreed on a price point. They helped each other out with volume. So Saturn would leverage their supplier's supplier to get them pricing. Everybody came out winning. Some of that came back here to Detroit, some did not, all right? But a lot of things did come back to Detroit that were in other directions. But first, on the supplier point, they surrounded themselves with their suppliers. That began to happen more here in Michigan. So Michigan began to focused a little bit more on local suppliers, whether it was West Michigan, Northern Michigan. GM really started getting themselves into a point where, hey, we don't want you to be more than a 2-hour drive away, all right? Of course, that didn't count for what, you know, Canada, because remember, GM is CPC-BOC, Chevy, Pontiac, Canada, Buick, Olds, Cadillac. Well, we know Pontiac and Olds are out, but I think Pontiac's coming back, okay? So that was a big thing. Now, when it comes to manufacturing, in that point, one of the biggest points that came back was teams working in cells. Huge, okay? Cellular manufacturing concept wasn't born here in the U.S., but it was kind of reborn here in the U.S. down there in Tennessee, all right, which is really cool. That did come back, okay? And if you look at how, what's his name? The Teslas are made. I can remember the guy's name, but I can't remember the car. Tesla is made in a cellular concept, just like the Maseratis and the Ferraris and the Porsches are, all right? These aren't really assembly line because these are custom cars that are, you know, uniquely built. Well, Saturn began to do the same thing, and what they found was when they set up their structure in that way, they got more efficiency and a lot more effectiveness, okay? So these are some of the things that came back to Detroit and that were unique and rare. Why is that important, though, Prof, to say what's valuable, what's rare, what's sustainable? Well, because we're trying to figure out in our company what the hell we can do and what we can leverage that's going to make us money, all right? And anything that's making us money and making us a good profit is going to be something that's very valuable and rare, and hopefully it's sustainable. If it's not sustainable, then what are we doing tomorrow? And why the hell are we investing a bunch of money in it? Okay, so this is important. This is why sustainability, this is another word for sustainability or definition. Sustainability is important, all right, because we're putting our money into it. So companies have what's called an EVA portion, which is economic value added. This is the amount of money that companies put in their organizations each year, right? We want to make sure that 15% that we're putting back in is going towards sustainable properties or assets. What does that mean? That means we're investing into our suppliers in this case, making sure that that money that time we put in is going to be used really well, all right? The buildings that we created down there in Tennessee are going to be used for a long time, and they're going to make us a lot of money. That's what sustainable means, okay? Was this entire concept rare and valuable? Oh, yeah. And that's why I think they're going to bring it back. People want a concept car. People want a car that is built just for a specific purpose. And they look at it as a depreciating asset. They don't look at a car as, you know, a status symbol. All right? Now, most of you are saying, what? Are you nuts? Yeah. 70% of us look at it as a status symbol, me included. But 30% of those people out there don't. They look at it strictly as a monetization of depreciation, and that's what they get, and that's what they want. They don't want, here we go into the sales and marketing, they don't want somebody pitching them on something that they don't need. They just want to know the details on what it is, and then give me a price for it. I don't want to haggle. I don't want to sit here and bundle. I just want a price for my damn car. And that's what we did here in Saturn. They said, hey, here's the specs. And if you want some additions, well, we can add a couple of things in here for you. But here's the pricing. Here's the price point. No haggle. None at all. Zero, nada. Right? That made it really interesting. And that did come north for a little while. But you know what? The greediness of us salespeople, and I can say that because I was in sales, that didn't fly too well in America for too long. We tried that, and we did that, and stores tried it, but there's too much of a tendency to want a deal. Deal, deal, deal. And Americans want a deal, all right? So that 70-30 split caused them to go back, and it didn't stick, all right? Some of the other unique things were that what would they do? If they had a problem, they'd remedy it. And that's pretty much how car companies are today. You know, I mean, if you've got, pretty much everybody's running 100,000 bumper to bumper on a car when you buy it. Takes you a little while to get that kind of mileage on there, usually about 4 years. So I think that, you know, that Saturn helped cause us to change our warranty points too, you know, because of what they were doing. All right, so that gives you some examples of what was coming in. 3 things that they did to leverage their brand. Well, of course, the concepts in sales and advertising, right? Those were remarkable. They were using data in a different way. some of you had wrote down that they were the MIS systems that were transferring. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, during that period of time, we were really trying to figure out. Now remember, the heyday of this, the beginning heyday, was 86 to, let's call it 96. So that 10-year period, we were really beginning to figure out how to use data the right way. We had a thing called Lotus 123 that was kind of a garbagey application for what we call Excel now. It wasn't until, 93 that Excel and Windows really hit I mean, some of you guys weren't even born in. It really hit the street. And so the point is that we were trying to figure out how to use reams of table data, because it wasn't coming to our desk very easily. All right, so that was pretty interesting. All right, so that's Saturn. I hope that helps out. You guys should be in your teams right now. Don't use another shoe company. All right, that wouldn't be too cool. Stick with companies like, Coke, Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch. I'm just thinking of beverage companies. You can use some pizza companies. Companies you guys know, Fritos, Nabisco, Kellogg's. Companies you can get data easily. I had a group last semester that wanted to use a sub-segment of Parker Hannifin. Well, you guys saw it, right? So they got halfway into it and realized they could not split this data up the right way, and I actually had to help them out of the ditch. I had to go and get them information that they didn't have. I actually had to call Honeywell and get information from them. And luckily, because I'm in the academia world, I could get it. And I had contacts at Parker Hannifin that I could get more data on too. So don't do that to me, okay? Stick with things that are pretty easy. Listen, on the teams, you guys all have to contribute. If you don't contribute and it's obvious, we're going to have a discussion and we'll see where it goes from there. But if you're that person that might lay in the weeds and just kind of put their name on the paper and not do anything, and your teammates tell me about it, we're going to have a discussion. And if that's the case, then I can't give you credit for something you didn't do, right? All right, so we all know where that's going. All right, that is my Friday update. I'll be back in touch with you guys. I hope this semester's been a learning semester for you. I hope you guys are learning. Get with me if you're dissatisfied with anything. I'd really like to talk to you about it, okay? Talk to you soon.